Hello everyone. Welcome to Life Lesson series with Dr. Vivek Rana. Hope all of you are doing well. We have often heard some famous quotes on honesty and truth, like honesty is the best policy, telling the truth is always a better way to live. Three things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. But can a lie be considered ethical at times? Let's try to find it out through a story. The story is about Franz Kafka. Franz Kafka was a famous German author who lived during World War One time, and he was suffering from tuberculosis. The story is set in 1923. It's based on a real life incident which happened with Kafka. Now, Kafka was unmarried, he didn't have any child of his own, and one fine evening he was strolling in a local park in Berlin. He came across a small girl who was sitting on a bench and crying inconsolably. Now, Kafka inquired her, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" The child replied that she has lost her favorite doll in the park, and the doll meant everything to her. She loved her unconditionally. Now, Kafka decided to help her. He said, "Don't cry, let's try to find it out in the park." So, next 2 to 3 hours they spent in park in quest to find the doll, but to no avail. It was getting dark and both had to return to their respective homes. So Kafka said, "Don't lose heart, we will try to find her out tomorrow evening once again." So this consoled a girl in some sort of way, and they met again the next evening and once again started their search. And once again their search ended in a futile attempt, and there was no traces of doll anywhere in the park. Now, Kafka, before the day ended, handed the girl a letter in which it was written, "Don't cry. I am traveling to see the world, and I will write you about my adventures every week." Now, this girl finally was too innocent, so she accepted that this particular piece of paper was formally written by a doll, even though it was a lie which was concocted by Kafka to just in a way to console the girl. So every week from then they used to meet in the park, and Kafka brought a letter which was addressed to the girl. In every letter he used to mention her trials and tribulations and her travel journeys with the girl, and they carried valuable information as well as her trust with the, you could say, adventures. So girl slowly started enjoying and learning a lot from those letters. Even though Kafka knew that quite cruel to lie to a child, but he felt that this unethical lie, if transformed into truth through means of fiction, there was no harm in it. So this went on for a few weeks, and now Kafka was suffering from, since he was suffering from tuberculosis, he knew that he didn't have much time at his disposal. So he knew one day he has to disclose the ultimate truth to her. So he decided one fine day that the doll will return finally once again to her home place, Berlin. And he addressed the girl through a letter. The girl was visibly excited, even though in last few weeks there was considerable change in her. She has almost forgotten that she had lost her favorite doll, and she was more curious and interested to you could say, to know about her life adventures through those letters. But finally, the D-Day arrived, and you can say that Kafka brought one of the best dolls available in the market and gave it to the girl. The girl immediately was visibly once again upset. She said, "She is not my doll at all." Now, Kafka once again gave her a letter in which it was written, "Traveling has changed me." So now the girl could correlate and understand that once we travel the world through myriad experiences, we change as a person. So in a way, the doll has transformed to better. So she finally accepted that her doll has returned, and she lived happily after. Kafka eventually died next year due to tuberculosis, and after some years, when girl has grown into a woman and she was just handling the doll once again for some purpose, she accidentally came across a piece of letter in which Kafka had addressed it himself, and it was written that everything you love would probably be lost someday, but in the end it will return to you in some another way. So this was a story in which, if you have heard it carefully, you might have deciphered some hidden life lessons. So you can share them with the word in comment section if you feel that there was some informative teachings which was in this story unethical, or you could say the ethical lie. It's rests upon you to support or reject a lie in life. So I hope this small story on life lessons was useful in some way. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.